Hello, welcome in the first episode of Bug Bounty Reports Discussed podcast. This episode is related to the latest video on my YouTube channel Bug Bounty Reports Explained when I described a bug that allowed stealing private videos from YouTube. It was found by David Schütz, who is my guest in this podcast. He constantly finds bugs in Google VRP, even though he's only 19 years old. From this podcast, you can learn why did he choose to only hunt on Google, how he looks for vulnerabilities, what's his advice for beginners, and also what is his quote-unquote unfair advantage in bug bounty. Enjoy!
Hi, thank you for inviting me to this podcast, and thank you for inviting me as the first guest to this podcast. I am David Schütz, and you might know me as ex-David Who, and I hunt for bugs. I do bug bounty, and you might saw my write-ups on Twitter or on this YouTube channel. My latest bug was this YouTube TV CSRF bug where you could steal someone's private unlisted videos just by sending them a link. So that's what the last video was about, and I think it was a very nice video. It explained it very well. So great job with that.
Thank you. I encourage everyone who didn't see it yet to watch this video on my YouTube channel, or maybe read the write-up on David's blog if you prefer reading. David, what are you doing besides bug bounty? Are you studying? Are you working? What do you do?
Yeah, so things that I am 19 years old currently, so that means that I am currently in university, but it's a bit trickier than that. Like, I started bug bounty around 2018 when I was in third year, I guess, of high school, and I was doing bug bounty full time. I'm putting like quotes here, full time with high school, but after high school ended like last year at the summer, I transitioned into being a university student, and I am currently like studying computer science engineering in university. But there's always a but. I am in the summer of this year, I started an internship at a Hungarian cybersecurity education startup, application security, like secure coding startup called Avato. And I am basically, in the last 3 months, I was working at Avato, and it looks like I am going to stay here in the future, in the future as well. So I am currently like in university, which is going to like start in a few days the next year. I am doing this internship. Funnily enough, I have my bug bounty work has been. I'm not hunting that often nowadays because I really like this internship, and I really like building stuff and doing the other side of what bug bounty is all about. Like in bug bounty, you try to break stuff, and here I can finally build stuff. So I think it's important to keep a balance there. I wasn't really able to find a balance currently. So in the last few months, I wasn't really hunting that much. But previously, I was bug hunting like full time.
If you were a successful bug hunter in high school, why did you go to university then? Did you want to try this other side, or did you hope that university will help you with bug bounties?
I'm not. I couldn't give you like a very great answer for that. It's just like it was like multiple things. First of all, this is how the way you go out of high school, you go into university. Here, this is like the normal thing to do. It's like casual stuff. And also there was like a little bit of pressure from like all sides, like parents, I don't know, like other people. Like it was always there that you should go to university. And firstly, like in high school, in the first few years of high school, I was like very against it. I didn't want to go at all. Like, I was like, I don't need this. Like, come on, like this is a waste of time and everything. But in the last few years, my opinion kind of normalized a little bit, or like isn't so intense anymore. So I was like, okay, I can try university and see how it goes, and see where to go from there. Like, it's not really I really dislike the idea of judging somebody based on a paper that university gives you. So I don't like that at all. But otherwise, in my first year of experience, kind of shows that. I don't know, it depends on what classes you take, but I had some negative opinions, I had some positive opinions, but I think my overall opinion over 1 year of going to university is it like, I'm fine with doing it on the side, but I really don't want to make this my main thing. Like, I don't want to be doing university full time. Like, no, if I can do it on the side, while working somewhere where I like to work, or while I'm doing bug bounty, that's fine. But it's not. I don't like it that much to like do it full time. So I think that's where I'm at currently. There are a bit of like messy things about that, messy emotions and messy thoughts. Like, I don't have a clear answer for that, but I am here, and I guess I will see where it goes in the future. But I'm not really worried about, like, I have to finish it to get the paper. Like, I don't think currently, like, it would make any difference if I would have a university degree or if I would not have a university degree. At this point, I don't feel like it would make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. With your resume at the moment, I don't think anyone will care about it. Do you plan to continue doing bounties after work and being blue teamer while at work, or you'd like to shift completely to one of these sides?
Very great question. Like, these are questions that I myself can't really answer, like that I think about on a daily basis, because to be honest, I was doing bug bounty for so long, and you could laugh at me saying so long at 19 and saying that like 3 years of doing something is long. But it kind of became like my identity, and I kind of like, it's like really me, the bug bounty person. And lately I really felt like I enjoy more working in a team, working in a startup environment, working and trying to build something very nice and very cool. And I had a little bit of trouble with accepting that I don't really want to do bug bounty right now. So I had to work on that, like, that like, okay, like, it's fine to not do bug bounty. I'm not going to miss out. It's fine if I want to do like, I want to work at the internship now full time. So I'm not sure. Firstly, my idea was like I should make like like try to balance it, like try to work and then maybe 1 day a week do bug bounty or otherwise or something like that. But there was no real system that came out of this in the last 3 months. So I can't give you a concrete answer, but I don't want to give it up. I think it's like it's really a way of thinking or a way of like. Looking at systems. Like, you can't help but think of how to hack something. It's not like you just like stop hacking and stop doing bug bounty. It's always there a little bit, but I'm not sure how actively I will do like, for example, Google VRP in the future, or how actively how maybe I will just casually like look at like Facebook or Instagram or something like, or YouTube. Like, I can't tell you anything. I try to do what I feel the best about, but currently it's hard sometimes to find what I really want to do. I'm in the middle of that.
Yeah, that's a hard question. But one thing for sure, whatever you will do, I'm sure when you will find, even if you will be a developer, if you find some dodgy functionality that you are curious about, I'm sure you will at least spin up developer tools, maybe even burp, and try to find some bug. And with your skills, with your finding, you'll probably find something there as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to let that go. And also, by the way, Avatar, where I'm working currently, is like really relevant to bug bounties. Like, it's a platform where we teach developers how to, like, we teach basic like bugs and web vulnerabilities and native vulnerabilities and different types of vulnerabilities to people. And a bunch of these are like CSRF, IDOR, all of that is usually in the bug bounty space. So it's like not far off from my bug bounty side. So it's a great place, I think, for me to have like both my bug bounty experience, regular relevant security bug bounty experience, and my development experience merged together. Yeah.
Did you first learn to code or did you learn bounties? And you will surprise me if you tell me you started bounties at 16 and you could code before.
No, I could I could code before, but not that long. There was we had a few little projects with a friend of mine. Like, it all started like very young. We were playing Minecraft. And we were like doing custom Minecraft servers and all of that stuff, And my friend was making plugins for the Minecraft servers, and that was very cool. I always wanted to do that. Always wanted to write custom plugins, but I could not learn to program. I could not learn to like write like Java code for the plugins. It was very hard. So for a few years, I just tried to get into it, but didn't really succeed. But yeah, I think around the start of high school, I started to get a little bit more into it, and I made it started with me making some little hacking tools, which I put on to GitHub. Like, if you look at my GitHub, there are like a bunch of these weird tools, like man in the middle access point, which is used to like spin up a fake Wi-Fi network where you can like with Wireshark monitor the traffic, and maybe there was like another like LAN ghost where you can like drop a Raspberry Pi into a network, and if you plug it into a network, you can later control it via a Telegram chatbot. So there were these little security projects. After that, there was an interesting development which was not security related. With my friend, the same guy, we made a chatbot for the city that I live in Hungary, Szeged, the city. We made a Facebook Messenger chatbot that lets people ask about the bus timetables. So you are basically at a bus stop and you can write a chat message on Facebook Messenger to this bot, and it will respond with the timetable of the buses. So that was that got like the media picked that up. It was very nice. It was very fun. And we were like both very young, like 16, and I was like 15, I think. So we did that. It's still working, by the way, to this day. It's very hard to... People are using it, but the funny thing is that it's very hard to maintain something for that long. Like, I'm learning it on my own self that maintaining legacy code for like 4 years is not so fun. Like, it breaks in the middle of like Christmas, and you have to like debug it at night and like do weird stuff with it. But it was a very nice experience. I like to keep it alive, and it was a fun development project for us, not related to security. And after that, that was in 2016, and in 2017, 2018 is where the Messenger chatbot was in 2017, and a year after that, I started to get into bug bounties. And I got into bug bounties because like, I think it's really the money tweets that got me. Like, I'm not sure if this is like good or bad, but I saw it on Twitter that, the HackerOne tweets and the Bugcrowd tweets at the time, or still, that I made $700 on Backcrowd. And I was like, there is no way that's real. Like, come on, guys. That's not possible.
I think we all started with seeing such tweets.
Yeah, the tweets really do a good job. And I still saw some people on Twitter who muted those tweets and like completely blocked them. I can understand that as well. But it was motivating, to get us all started, I think. And that started me on the bug bounty path, I think. I started with a point-only program. It was Under Armour. They had a point-only program on Backcrowd. I reported a bunch of stuff. I got to the first place of Under Armour program because, it's a point-only program. No one was really hacking there, and they accepted like duplicate bugs even. So I reported the same bug in 4 different websites, and they all accepted as unique bugs. So I don't know, it was a bit weird, but I got to the top of the leaderboard. That was very nice, because it was like Under Armour, the running, like the sport clothing thing. And I saw people on the street wearing Under Armour, clothes, and I was like, I hacked that. I'm on the leaderboard. So that was fun. And after that, I started doing a paid program. I was like, it was really, really intimidating that I could not find a bug in a paid program, of course. But I thought, I could try. So I decided that I will try. And I will do it for a week or 2 weeks, or no. I decided I will do it until I find a bug. What can I lose, really? And a week or 2 weeks after starting hacking on DigitalOcean, I found a bug there. That was my first ever bug. And I remember I was like really, really freaking out about that when it got the reward. Like 2 or 3 weeks later, I thought, they don't care about it. I thought it's like a really bad bug, And then I got like 5 emails in the evening, and it said like, triaged, rewarded, unresolved, like all of those emails. And the first bounty was like $2,000, which was insane.
Was it from DigitalOcean program?
Yeah. It was
because
DigitalOcean.
Right now they are points only, so I think they reverted back. What was the vulnerability class?
It was broken authorization. I think that's the very formal way to say it, but it was that kind of bug.
That's a great payout for a high school student.
Yeah. I mean, it was very crazy. Like, I was like calculating that if I get like the $700 maybe that I saw on Twitter, that that could cover the payments of traveling to C3, the conference, the German security conference that we were going to, that was organized yearly. So it was way over the expected, like anything that I expected. So that was very crazy to get it as a first bounty.
How did you then got to Google? When did you start hacking on Google? Was it early in your career or was it rather lately?
So I did. It's weird to think back. I don't even know what I did. I was just like messing around with random programs, like invite-only programs, not invite-only programs. Just anything I could see. I was trying to hack it, but. In 2019 in September, I decided like, okay, enough of this, that I'm moving between all of these different programs, and I don't really like it was hard to maintain motivation to hack on programs that I know nothing about. Like, you get a private invitation for a like weird application that's like super complex, and you don't even know how it works, and it's like you don't have any personal connection with the brand, with the tool, with the program. So it was hard to like just like try to hack that, and it wasn't that successful to just like move and try all of the different programs for me. So what I decided on is like in September 2019 that I will focus on Google and do just Google and nothing else. And I did that. I did that because I saw a guy, and I can't remember the name. But there is a guy who is exclusively hacking on Facebook, and I saw that he had like so many bug reports on Facebook, and he understood so much about Facebook, I thought it's really cool, and I thought that that's the way to go. To go pick one and go deep. And I think it's more rewarding than to try to find the low hanging fruit on all of the different programs, because most of the people are like the low hanging fruit is usually like taken. So that I choose Google VRP, and I started in 2019 September, and it's almost 2 years since that. Yeah.
And how do you choose the specific website of Google that you will test? Do you do a lot of recon?
No. I just, for YouTube, I chose YouTube in the beginning because that was the product that I was most familiar with. That's the product I used the most. I grew up watching Minecraft YouTube videos, and I grew up watching all of these different YouTube videos. YouTube was my thing. Like I know it. I know how it works. I knew it. So I thought that would be the coolest, thing to find a bug in. So that's why I chose YouTube in the first place. After that, I was looking at different stuff, but the thing with Google is that they have so many products that all of those products could be a different bug bounty program, basically. So it's like huge. So you can pick and choose, basically. What I usually do, but I don't think this is a great process. I don't like doing it. It's like feels very unproductive. That's a funny thing about bug bounty. Everything feels unproductive until you find a bug. Like you are not really unproductive. It just feels like that. But then at one try, it works out, and there is a bug. So the whole process was not unproductive. It's really like messing with your brain a little bit. But I just like go around, click around until I find something interesting. Basically, that's my recon.
A lot of people on Twitter ask about the methodology. So how do you choose your functionality? Is it really, see what seems appealing to you, or is it some kind of process or methodology which you can say?
I think where I have the most success of finding bugs if I just try to understand the whole product. That's my go-to way. That's what I recommend to anyone who would ask a question like this, is like to really pick one. It doesn't matter which one, like everything has bugs in it. Like you can pick any one of it, any product. Just pick one product and then go deep. Try to understand the whole thing. Try to understand the whole product, how it works under the hood, better than the people who wrote it. And that's the key. Like if you understand the whole thing better than the people who made it, then you can just simply think of ways to exploit it, and then you have a bug. Like I had one bug. I'm not sure if you read that. I had a write-up about that when abusing the embedded YouTube player to leak your unlisted videos.
I took a look, but didn't read the whole article. Could you tell us about it?
Yeah, so it was like, you have the embedded YouTube player that you can put into your website if you want to play videos on your website. And that YouTube player has an API, a JavaScript post message API. So your website can control the YouTube player. It's very nice. It works very well. So your website can skip, for example, a video, or load up a playlist, play a video, do anything with the send commands to the embedded player, basically. And the bug was that there was your unlisted videos playlist, and there was your liked videos playlist, and all of these hard-coded playlist IDs that every user had, and you could load those playlists into the embedded player. It would load the current visitors playlist, and then you could send a command to list the videos in the current playlist to the embedded player, and the embedded player would reply like, so basically the attack would look like, hey, embedded player, play my uploads playlist. And then the embedded player would start to play the given user's uploads playlist. And then you ask the embedded player like, hey, what videos are in the current playlist that you are playing? And the embedded player would reply like, yeah, here are the IDs, go ahead. So it was like, it's not even a bug if you think about it. It's like kind of like a feature, but it was a collision that no one really thought about using it this way. So there was probably the embedded player team who were developing their API, they post message API and everything, which was working very well. And there was a different team, I guess, who were like developing the uploads playlist, that everyone has a fixed ID uploads playlist, liked list playlist, all of these. And I remember like I was just like looking into this playlist naming thing on YouTube, and then looking into the embedded player thing on YouTube. And I wasn't even in front of a computer. I think I if I remember correctly, I was like going to school. I was standing on a tram, and I thought like, oh yeah, like why couldn't I just play the uploads playlist in the embedded player and then ask later the embedded player like what video is playing. and then I got home and tried it, and it worked. So it's basically like a feature. And the reason I'm giving this example is that I think it really shows of why understanding the application as a whole makes you find bugs easily, because it's not hard to put the two together if you know about the two things that you have to put together.
And let's say you are testing a functionality and you've tried everything you could think of. When do you decide to move on from it?
I don't know. I don't think I have a great answer for that. I tend to go a little bit too deep with that usually, I think. If I can put a little personal thing in here that I never really talked about, but I think it's one of my really superpowers in terms of bug bounty is that I have OCD, or like obsessive compulsive disorder, if you would call it. It's like 99% that I have it. I don't have a paper for it like officially or something, but I really have all of the symptoms of that. And it's a mental thing where I can get very obsessive about basically anything. And it's really giving me an unfair advantage in terms of bug bounty. I think that if there is a functionality or something that I kind of think is like suspicious, but it's not really, then even if I myself, I would be like lazy, like I don't want to like go that deep, like, I don't want to do it. I still feel like I must go this deep, and I must look at everything, and I can physically not keep myself from like obsessing and going down the rabbit hole sometimes. And the sad thing about it is that it's not a fun experience for me either. But I think there are a bunch of bugs that I found because of not giving up. Even though I wanted to give up, but I was like so obsessive about something that I could not physically give up. So I was like forcing myself into going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's why I find a given bug. So the same thing applies to when do I stop? Like, I don't know, if I get very like obsessive about something, then I might go way too deep without the need of going way too deep. Like, it's wish I could balance that, but I can't really. But I just wanted to share this. Like, I think it's a very interesting thing. I want to talk more about this because this OCD thing has a bunch of other negative aspects and a bunch of other like stuff unrelated to bug bounty. But here it's a weird thing that it's an unfair. It's a superpower and it's also super bad power. but the power of being so, feeling like I literally feel like I must go this deep. I had, if I can put like one quick example here, I remember I was using the Secure Notes application?
Not really.
It's like an encrypted note service kind of thing. And I downloaded it. I wanted to try it out. And on my Mac, something popped up that the firewall popped up saying like, do you want to allow connections to this thing? And I was like, why is it asking me? But I didn't want to check it. I really didn't want to check it. I had way many better things to do. But I had this like weird over responsibility that, no, I must check this one. Like, I have to do it. So I got like kind of obsessive, and I had to go deep. And I got deep, and I took the thing apart. I looked at the source code. It was on GitHub, I think. It was open source. And I find that it was a bug that the secure note was incorrectly binding a web server to 0000, yes. So it was binding to every interface, and it was a web server. And the web server had a path traversal bug. So anyone on your Wi-Fi network or on your same network as you could download any file from your computer using this bug. So it was a secure note application, like an encrypted note-taking app. That was like, it was crazy. And I reported it, and it got like fixed like in an hour. That the guy was like very, very good with it. But this is just an example that, you know, if you ask me at that point, I don't want to go deep, but I feel like I must. I feel I have this over-responsibility thing, and I feel like I must go deep. So yeah, I just wanted to add this. Like, this is a weird, unfair advantage that I think I have.
Yeah, I'm sure that's an advantage here, but probably not always you're happy that you have it. Could you name maybe a functionality that you really tried to hack, but it didn't work at the end, and you spent like days on trying to hack this?
I don't think I have. If there is no hope at all, I don't usually go. Like, I don't spend days if it's like nothing there at all. I usually spend days or weeks when there is a bug already, but I want to make it more impactful. And I have a very hard time stopping in the middle. Like, I find a bug halfway. It's like, it's a nice bug, but, you know, I imagine the biggest impact it could have. And I literally can't stop until I achieve that biggest impact. And that's where I spend most of my time. And sometimes it's just impossible. You know, you have to find a different bug to make the biggest impact that I want to make. So that's where I can't give you a current example, but this is what usually happens, that I find something like moderately serious, but then I imagine in my head like, oh, this could be very serious if I could chain it together with another thing. And I start to look for the other thing, but I can't find the other thing. And, you know, when do I stop? Like, it might be there, but it might not be there. Like, you have to stop at some moment. But when is the right moment to stop? The best question. Like, I don't have the answer for that. I don't think anyone can answer this question with a concrete answer. How do you learn now? How do you learn new things about bug bounties specifically nowadays? About bug bounties, I think I do a terrible job at learning about bug bounty currently. Like, I don't keep up with the blog, the write-ups that much anymore. I keep up with the Google stuff. Like, I have this GitHub repository, the awesome Google VRP write-ups repository, where I try to aggregate all of the Google VRP write-ups into one place. And I try to keep up to speed with that. And there is, try to understand, like, and then talk with the other Google hackers about what they find. And I do that, but I don't really do anything else currently, unfortunately. I could do much better if the question is that, I could, like, you know, I'm watching your videos though. I watched the GitHub video. It was very nice. I even started to hack a little bit on GitHub because of it. It was inspiring, because I thought, you know, maybe I could like bypass the fix there or do something, but I wasn't able to bypass the fix. But I started. I spent an evening trying to mess with that.
Yeah, I also liked it because it's especially impressive to me, like the way you and Teddy from this bug hack, that you have one program that you really know everything about. Like, Teddy has a few nice vulnerabilities on GitHub, and those are functionalities like pull requests or private videos on YouTube that many of us use on a daily basis. Probably equally many tried to hack those functionalities, but only you, with your previous experience, you can do it. And for me, it's especially impressive, this way of hunting.
Yeah. I remember when I started out, like with the bug bounty stuff, I kind of thought, I should never look. I should find hidden stuff, hidden old functionalities that, might be like very bad or very new or something. And I think one important takeaway, you don't have to. Like, you can just go straight to the main feature. Like, why not, go to the pull request of GitHub, try to hack that. Like, that's one of the main features of like GitHub, and go to the private videos. Or like, this is a very basic feature of YouTube. Like, it's not a hidden secret new feature that they just added and it has a new bug that they didn't fix yet. No. And don't be afraid of, thinking that other people already looked at it. Like, yeah, they looked at it, but they didn't look at the same thing that you are about to look at.
Yeah, especially, if there are integrations like the Google ads, also the previous bug I covered of yours on my channel. Do you use any tools apart from proxy to hunt for bugs?
I use Burp as a proxy. I only have the community edition. I don't have the professional. I basically only use the proxy tab and the repeater tabs. Like, that's it. I sometimes use the change of user agent. When you can swap around the like search and replace on the requests. I like that. You had to do it, for example, for the YouTube TV bug. You had to swap the user agent. I use Burp basically, and I use the Android Studio, a AVD emulator basically for Android stuff. And other than that, I might write some custom code if there is something that I want to automate. That happened a few times in the last year, that there was a specific Google stuff that I wanted to, automate and write tools for. So I made my own tools. But other than that,
but those were to scan for a specific vulnerability or what?
Yeah, like scanning and reconning, and like it was basically messing with the way the Google APIs work. Ezekiel he's one of the best Google hackers, and he has like talks and write-ups about how to explore the Google APIs and the hidden fields and methods and all of those the different parameters of APIs Google has. And he shares a lot of interesting stuff, and I try to make some tools for myself from his knowledge to apply it more effectively, like to scan or automate this kind of stuff a little bit. But these are mostly like custom made tools for very specific purposes. Not necessarily for like scanning for a given specific bug, though it's more like a tool for recon, I would say.
And do you use some scripts or automations that track changes? So they are supposed to detect when there is a significant change in an application?
I did that once, but I'm not doing it anymore. But I can share it, that I had a script. It was like very simple. I don't have it anymore, I think, but it was very simple, that it downloaded the Google help page, like the whole help page for a given product, like everything, followed all the sublinks and downloaded every page. And I put it into a GitHub repository and pushed it to a GitHub repository every midnight or something like that. And I had email alerts set up for the changes on that GitHub repository. So every day I would get an email about stuff that's changed in, for example, the YouTube help documentation, like the whole YouTube help documentation. So I had some tooling for that, but I stopped doing it because it's really hard to actually find something in that amount of data. Like every day, so many things change. I even had like some tooling to do the same GitHub change tracking trick for the JavaScript code of YouTube Studio one day, that was also working nice, despite the fact that the cookies like expired every few days. So you had to like re-log in and re-update the cookies to get the JavaScript file. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess. So these are great if you do these properly, but it's a lot of work to maintain them and to go through all of the false positive results it gives you.
Did you find any bugs using those scripts?
No.
Okay, so I know why you don't continue maintaining them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess maybe they gave me, a little bit of information here and there that I used later on, but no concrete bugs came out of those automations, and it was a lot of work to maintain. Yeah, so I kind of stopped after a while.
And for those who are just getting into the industry, do you think coding skills, for example, writing such script, do you think it's necessary to be able to code to get bounties?
No, I don't think it's necessarily. It's kind of like saying, maybe it's not the best example, but I don't really like the fact that, you have to know mathematics to code. Like, no, not really. Like, not really currently. If you want to write code that does mathematics, then you have to know mathematics for that. Like, yeah, of course. But if you want to build like a very simple web application or something, then you don't really have to do any mathematics there. I feel like the same is true for this. Like, no, you can of course find bugs without knowing how to code, but knowing how computers do stuff, like not even writing code, like not even getting being a Python expert or like a JavaScript expert or something like that. No, just understanding the basic concepts of how programming languages, work, and how code works, how computers do stuff. I think it's really beneficial. I would say maybe it's necessary. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. I came into Bug Bounty after knowing how to code in like different languages. Not an expert in any of that still, but having a basic idea of how coding logic is different from like normal everyday logic. So I had that already. I think you have to have some of that for Bug Bounty. I'm not saying you have to be like an expert in any specific programming language, not at all. If you learn to properly program, then of course you can make your own scripts and tools and stuff like that. So that could be very useful. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree on this. And what advice would you give to beginner bounty hunters?
I think similar to what I said earlier is to go deep. Pick one thing and go deep, and try to understand the whole product. And don't worry that much about hacking in the beginning. Like, you don't have to hack it, the first day or the first week or the first month. No, you can just like play around with all of the different features and learn how it works, learn all of the different, like, you can, get to know it as you would get to know like a video game, that every bit and piece of how a video game works. Some people can get very into different games and know everything about it. Like, I think the same thing to do with a specific product has massive results. So if you, for example, go into YouTube and then spend, I don't know how much time, but spend a lot of time like just trying everything, seeing how stuff works, understanding the whole thing, and understanding how it probably works under the hood first. And after that, you can start like hacking. And you don't even have to, like, that's what I'm saying, that, ideas will come to mind if you understand something that deep about how to break it. It will be obvious, basically, I think.
You told before that you started hacking on VDPs. I see right now some people are criticizing VDPs and telling that people shouldn't be hacking on them. Would you advise beginners to hack on unpaid programs?
I know about this debate, that somebody thinks that it's not great, somebody thinks that it's fine. I don't know, I see the point of doing free work for a company is like a bit unfair. For me in high school, having a bunch of time to spend on this, I was perfectly fine with it. Like, it was my choice to do a VDP because I wanted to do something that's easier than paid programs. And it was my choice to do it. I wasn't mad or anything that they didn't pay me, and I didn't feel like, oh yeah, they are exploiting me because I'm doing free work. I didn't think that. I think if you're fine with, if you're going to VDPs because you want to find something, if you want an easier target at first, I think that's perfectly fine. That's what I did. If you feel like this is a bit of exploiting and you don't want to do it, but you feel like you must do it to get private invites, no, I don't think you must do it. Like, if you don't want to, then just go with the paid programs. I don't really hack on private programs anyway, so I don't really have a motivation to like collect points for invites, you know.
Yeah, I understand. And a question not really connected to bug bounties, but you are on Twitter, but you have zero, you are following nobody. What's the story behind that?
The story behind that is it's not like it's not because I'm trying to be cool or something. It's cool. Let's admit it. It's cool to have followers and have follow 0 people. That wasn't the goal, and it's not the goal currently. A while ago I was like I'm always in and out about using social media, and I use it a lot, and then I decide to quit social media, and then I go back to social media and do that every year, every month. Like, it's a little bit of a back and forth always. And I had this that I was like spending much time on Twitter, and I didn't want to like uninstall Twitter because I have the interactions there. I have someone mentions me if I want to post something there. I want to have Twitter there, but I didn't want to scroll the feed. So that's when I decided that I make my feed empty. So I unfollowed everyone. So now that my feed is empty, and I have a list. On Twitter you can make lists. So I have a list of like a few people where it makes like a separate feed for those few people. I don't know. Like, I don't think this is. I'm not sure about this decision. I just like unfollowed everyone once because there was like too much thing in my feed, and I was like scrolling too much Twitter, and I turned my Twitter account into like where I post my work, and I don't really do anything there besides that. But I do have it to check if you send me a message or if someone reaches out or something like that. Of course I check it once in a while, but I'm not using that actively. That's the reason behind it. But this is really not a real argument against it. Like, I could follow a bunch of people as well. It's just like, I unfollowed everyone like last year, I think, for this reason. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth with removing and bringing back mobile applications of Twitter, of YouTube, or of different applications, which I'm not sure if I need them, because sometimes I find myself checking for the notifications just too often. But yeah, I also believe that with bounties, with internship, and with university, you don't have much time, because I've been in a similar position. So I suppose you really need to be quick.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I have an embarrassing thing. One Sunday, it was one day, I spent 7 hours on TikTok. 7. So it was almost like a full work day, and it was terrible. Like, after that, I opened YouTube and I was like, God damn, I have to choose the video to watch. Like, how lame is that? Like, this is a boomer thing. So TikTok is crazy. But funny that you say that. Yeah, I'm always going back and forth between that as well. Like, I uninstall the YouTube app because I don't want to watch YouTube, but then I end up using the web interface, and that sucks because I can't, it like messes up every single time. And then I download the YouTube app, and for a few months I was like, I'm not really looking at YouTube. But then I start looking at YouTube again. Like, it's a cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's the same. At the moment, for example, I don't have Facebook, but also I'm logged in Safari. And when something happens, when I expect some notifications, I just see that in Safari, and it doesn't make sense. But The screen time restriction is helping a bit with that. Okay, I have a last question for you. Name one thing, it might be a script, an automation, a habit, or a purchase, whatever, that saved you a lot of time lately, that made you more productive.
In bug bounties, or I guess in bug
doesn't
bounties.
have to be in bug bounties.
Doesn't. Okay, I have one. It's very, like, I'm answering questions in an outside of the box way. Like, I never gave a concrete answer to any question you asked me before. I have something similar here as well. I think a productive tip is to not worry about your equipment. Like, what I learned in the last couple of years, I spent so much time worrying about, I buy this computer, but I buy this monitor, but it's not the monitor is like, has better refresh rate, that has better pixels, this phone has a better battery. And, after I buy all of these different things, I end up like thinking like, it really doesn't matter at all. Like, I have it's not the fastest computer, it's not the slowest. Like, after you buy it, it doesn't matter. So it's like just do what you want to do, and don't try to like make the equipment perfect. You can't. It really doesn't matter at all. That's my advice.
Also off topic regarding this, I'm playing Rocket League sometimes, and in Rocket League, sometimes people in their logins, that's the login visible in the scoreboard, for example, they put, for example, Greg on 144 hertz. That's the refresh rate of the monitor. Like, it would change their skill significantly. That's ridiculous.
Weird flex. Okay, That's funny. Wow.
Thank you, David, for coming to the podcast. I really enjoyed this talk, and I'm sure that viewers also did and have many takeaways that they can take from this talk.
Thank you for having me again. I hope I could give you something valuable, and it was very nice to talk to you.
Thank you a lot for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to never miss a new episode. You can do it on YouTube, but also in your favorite podcasting app like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. This will also help this episode reach other people who might find it interesting. Thank you in advance, and goodbye.